Welcome to the show. This is The Force Awakens. My name is Diz, aka David Zamed. Let's get on with it. The news, the views, the reviews, and interviews. Dun dun dun. Today's news is quite light. It actually happened over a week ago, actually. It's on YouTube. There is a great, this almost is like a review, but it's not. There is a great Star Wars in a shopping mall performance. Just look that up on YouTube. Star Wars in a shopping mall performance or something like that. It's seriously, sort of heart tingling, if that's a way to put it. It has, it just gives you the energy of Star Wars yet again through fans, through inspiration, through all this type of. It's great. It's a collaboration, whether it was set up even with the audience or whether it was a paid thing to do or whatever it is. It was actually well done, even if the music was a little bit cheated because it sounds pretty good. Just check that out. I'll just give you a sort of quick review to this. It is 9 out of 10. It's fantastic. It's fun and it's just a great collaboration. Amazing. Check it out. YouTube. This is the news. Can you believe it? This is my news today. So according to any other news today, nothing to report. Again, no news on The Mandalorian and Grogu, and no news on Starfighter, which is only good news when there's no news. Anyway, so that's the news for this time around. Let's get into views. Views is my story, ideas that I like to express. I accept the story for Star Wars as we know it, from start to finish, all the way from the start, all the way to the finish, or whichever way you think start and finish is. And yes, I accept it. All the way from Acolyte to the Rise of Skywalker. I accept Star Wars. But here's my story idea. As we're going to have the Darth Maul animated series coming sort of soon, what story would be best suited for this? Well, I think it was Rebels or Clone Wars. I think it's more Rebels. I think having him being a crime syndicate boss really does make sense. I think, I think, you need to extend on that. You can't make this person a hero, sort of like how Boba Fett was turned into a hero. This guy's a villain, but it has to be done with a real Darth Maul edge to it, really just almost insanely revenge. That's what he's about. Darth Maul is revenge. Just in case if you don't know who Darth Maul is, just go back to episode 1, The Phantom Menace. He was the sort of main enemy in the whole film, along with the quietly Emperor-to-be, Palpatine. But he's the one with the red and black face, sort of painted or tattooed or whatever it is. And he was a menace. He wasn't the Phantom Menace, in my mind. And I think in George Lucas's mind. But anyway, the Phantom Menace, I think at that point, was the Palpatine being the Emperor in a non-Emperor way at that point. But anyway, so I would just make pure crime stories with Darth Maul. But it must end. Every episode must hang with a cliffhanger. That's how it should be. If you're going to have a series, a TV series, it must have some sort of cliffhanger. It might be typical, but it just needs to be done. Anyway, so let's now get into reviews. Reviews this time around is going to be something interesting, something very interesting. There was a big trilogy release on with these guys. This is, and I've forgotten the actual name back then. It was this cartoon series. What was it? The Family Guy. That's all. Family Guy. I've got the whole DVD Blu-ray series. When he came with the box, it came with a T-shirt. This was obviously with the very first one. The first one was something Dark Side. That's right. It was called something Dark Side. I think that was the first DVD Blu-ray. This T-shirt came a part of it. Great T-shirt. Great collectible T-shirt. This is a prized possession for me. I'd never give this up. This is a 10 out of 10 collection things that I have. Beautiful. Anyway, so now let's get into interviews. Interviews, can you believe it, is going to be with, let me just see. Yes, it is on. Michael from Werribee South, back on it again. He loves it. His questions in comments. So anyone can comment, not just Michael from Werribee South. You know, anyone in the world. You could be Bob from the Bronx. You could be, you know, Dave from Denmark. Whatever you like. Anyone out there, you can just make a comment, even if it's just something I've said, or you can just ask a question or whatever it is. Anyway, let's get on with these questions. By Michael from Werribee South. What was the original title of Return of the Jedi used in the teaser trailer in 1982? Well, I can also extend, not just in the teaser trailer, but the marketing up until about a month before the release, even posters, and these are collector items. These are collector items because they changed the name. And so the original title was Revenge of the Jedi. The reason why it was changed because it didn't sit well with George Lucas that the Jedi would have revenge. It was not in their nature. They were about the good guys, not about, you know, sort of continuing evil. And revenge is sort of a bit of like an evil sort of thing in, you know, most instances. So, yeah, Return of the Jedi was actually meant to be called Revenge of the Jedi. But, you know, many moons after that when he went back into the prequels, he got to use that word revenge in episode 3 with Revenge of the Sith, because the Sith are about revenge. Anyway, so that was the first question. First answer. Second question by Michael from Werribee South. What was Obi-Wan Kenobi's rank in the Clone Wars? Obi-Wan Kenobi, the great Jedi Master, at the time of the Clone Wars, the Jedi were more or less soldiers. They were sort of like an army rather than holders of the peace of the galaxy. They became soldiers. The manipulation really ran wild in the galaxy at that time through the Phantom Menace, which was the Emperor or Palpatine. But anyway, what was his rank? He was a general. General Kenobi. That's what he was. That's the first, that's the second question answered from Michael for Werribee South. Third question. How many planets are there in Star Wars Galaxy? Well, like the galaxy we live in, and a Star Wars galaxy, there is no official amount of planets. They will just continue. When the story gets longer and widespread, it's unlimited. I mean, there's a number of planets that have been named now, but that's irrelevant because it's unlimited. The galaxy is a never-ending galaxy, whether it's in reality or in Star Wars. So there's no real number to how many planets in the Star Wars galaxy. It's unlimited. The next question by Michael from Werribee South. Gotta take a drink. It's, you know, he makes me thirsty, this guy. Beautiful. What did Luke Skywalker use to distract Darth Vader during their duel in Empire Strikes Back. Tell me about this, Michael says. Well, really, there was nothing that he was distracting him with, but he was definitely full of anxiety. He was full of, emotions. Luke Skywalker. He was definitely, striving to be the good, but Darth Vader was recognizing that he was quite good. So really, it was not really a distraction. It was more that he was, his flaws, Luke Skywalker's flaws, were sort of distracting Darth Vader because it was, in a way, some sort of way to put it, distracting him because it was, he wasn't 100% as a Jedi yet. But Darth Vader could see the potential. Not just that, his feelings as a father, and this is his son, were really developing at this point, secretly. Anyway, the next question: what planet is Obi-Wan Kenobi from? Now, I can tell you officially, I have no idea. I know I've heard this before, but I've had to do some research on this. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi's planet was planet Stew-Jon. Planet Stew-Jon, if that's how you would say it, or Stew-On, or whatever it is. That's where Obi-Wan Kenobi really was born, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't Tatooine. A lot of people would probably say Tatooine, but it's not. Anyway, so really that is the show this time around. I will be back ASAP. And until next time, my friends, keep rocking.